Okay, so SJ, welcome. A whole
Thank you.
26 minutes later, welcome to the
It's happening though.
So, for anyone who comes into this a little bit later or who has logged on and logged off, I apologize. Of course, whenever you're trying to go live, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. But I do want to welcome SJ to the call today. For those of you who may be happening upon this channel for the first time, my name is Fujica. Of course, the channel name is simply Fujica. And in this particular series, we're talking about business, but over brunch. And SJ, did you actually bring anything for brunch today? Or you already
This
had your coffee? Or
I have a little bit of a tea, but this was more of like a working brunch.
Okay. Well, listen, cheers anyway. I do have to
Cheers.
brag because, I came. I'm ready.
I love
Okay.
it. Beautiful. That's wonderful.
So, ladies, what inspired me to do this series is I feel a shift going on in the atmosphere, and I am just so proud to be a part of the shift. But I'm noticing some of my friends, previous colleagues are really taking that leap of faith and really making that transition from working that corporate 9 to 5 and really kind of pursuing our dreams, pursuing our visions that we may not have done at previous times in our life. And SJ is a part of that shift. Now, SJ, before we get started, you sent over some pictures for your thumbnail.
Yes.
That blue one. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I need you to share with me what is the story behind that picture because it has inspired me.
Yes. First of all, Fujica, thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here for Business Over Brunch. And that was such a special picture. And at our old organization, because Fujica and I used to work together at a previous organization, there was this large team building event. And during that team building event, I was also took on a project to do some sort of cultural appreciation, really something that the business hadn't done before when it came to people's actual cultural identities and bringing that to work and sharing that. So throughout that week, we did some things like potlucking, listening to different music from different genres of the world, really finding out what are people's favorite songs that are special to them, even then talking about their favorite recipes, really wanting to have people share a little bit more about their culture instead of this is my work colleague who I come to talk to about accounting, and that's all I do. This is my IT colleague who I ask questions about for IT. I know nothing else about them. I'm really taking that opportunity to get to know one another better and create a closer bond. So that was the week of that event, and I had a large team, a meeting with maybe like 500 or so of that department.
Wow.
And I showed up like this. Nobody else was dressed this way because it was really just the Atlanta office kind of thing that we were doing. And we were doing it satellite in different offices like Santa Ana or Toronto, but only the individuals who were in the Atlanta office may have even known about this. So I just showed up and it just felt so comfortable. I just really wanted to express myself in a way that I hadn't had the opportunity to before because I was still discovering, my nationality and my ethnicity and what that means to me and how I can express it. So that's what you're seeing in that picture. I just had to take a shot.
And your answer lived up to everything I thought it would be because you looked free in that photo. And I said, so we're preparing for this. And Yesenia said, hey, here's what we have for our thumbnail. I said, wait a minute. I need to ask her about this picture. So thank you for sharing that. And, I really wish, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but we were fortunate that we were able to show up as our authentic selves, that was a beautiful thing. And the fact that it was at a team building, it's all those things that you hear about. We actually did get to experience that. So that's amazing. Okay, so I really would like to sit back and stop talking for a minute, SJ.
Yes.
I really want you to introduce yourself. That includes your life, your background, and how you got to today.
Yes. Well, again, like I said, I'm so happy to be there, and I'm so happy to be reconnected with you, Fujica. I think we've talked like 3 or 4 years,
Yes.
but just having the opportunity to re-engage with you is amazing. You're such an awesome kindred spirit. So just thank you for being out there doing your thing so we can reconnect in this way again. Yes, everyone. Hello. So I'm SJ McMillan, and I'm a recovering perfectionist with a passion for just the most human way to do things. I get really frustrated when there is a lack of just basic human understanding and respect in processes. If seeing it everywhere, that's something that really bothers me. So in my career line profession of talent development, I have the opportunity to see the ways in which we can interject more humanness into the processes that take place to create a more well-rounded workforce. You really want that give and take. It's not about asking the employee to plead fealty. It's really about a give and take of how can you one another to get whatever goals you're trying to get. Personally, trying to get that paycheck, business-wise, trying to make that project happen. So understanding that there's an actual exchange there and no one kind of owes anyone anything else besides what was already agreed.
Right. What was agreed to. And unfortunately, I don't know how that's... Yes. Well, it's funny, and I'm so sorry. I just want to jump into that point because you would think that would almost be, that would almost be common knowledge. Like, we don't always particularly pay attention to the human experience. Because of course, to your point, there's an agreement whenever you take on a job or you work for a job. There is that agreement, right? But there shouldn't be a fine line to talk about the human condition or the human experience. But I always feel like that's the part that's loudest if it's not being acknowledged. So I love what you said. I like to throw things like that out there because we don't know who's going to listen to this later, but if you are a business owner and culture is something that you care about, which if you employ someone outside of yourself and your business, culture is something you should care about. Then
absolutely.
That's something that you need to be concerned about is how people are experiencing employment. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you drew me in with that.
No worries at all. That's so absolutely true. Culture is really that are allowed, effortlessly that are said that aren't checked. That's the culture.
Yeah.
So making sure that is a healthy environment, not just for the people working in it, third who comes across it. There's no reason why we can't also get one and be respectable. There's no reason why those both things can't exist. So with over 20 years of talent development, it's just really my passion to bring things together. I'm a synthesizer. In my career, I started out in tech support. So really trying to put those pieces together, technical writing, facilitating, training. Through the years, I've made my way through numerous leadership positions until I got to the opportunity to, step out on my own. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But I take talent development seriously. I am accredited by Association of Talent Development. It's a certified learning professional, certified clinical leader professional, and it's a wonderful opportunity with the Association of Talent Development (ATD) to continue to hone my skills, to see how other businesses are acting. Just kind of test the water, see what the temp is in the industry, and continue to get better.
Nice, I love that.
Let's see.
Love it.
If you want a little personal, currently, my husband and I, we're in that digital nomad life. So we love traveling and, gaining new experiences. I love eating. I love cooking. I'm vegan. So I love trading recipes. If you have any really good recipes, let me know. And, being led to start MelanList.
No, No, you know what I was going to say, SJ? I'm going to need you to help me with this whole vegan thing. We're going to have to, right now it probably won't be too much exchanging because I don't have any, but I would love to get some from you. I will definitely say that. But I do want to transition. I think this is a good time. So, because yes, that tells us about your background, kind of what led up to that.
If you want the help, I'm all here for it.
Okay. But I do think this is a good transition point because you talked about your kind of your corporate life really evolving, really changing, adding skill sets to your tool belt.
Yeah. So
until you stepped out. So yes, tell us about stepping out and how you came up with this concept.
Absolutely. So, stepping out is always an anticipatory. You don't know what to expect. Whenever there's a little bit of unknown, you draw your own conclusions.
Yes. Yes.
So, I know Fujica and I have been talking. We feel like we might not have that step out, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but the timing has just so aligned that it just made it almost audible. Like you couldn't stop hearing, just like, do something, go on your own, try this, give it a try. Really, there are no bounds. So if you could like free yourself mentally, I mean, what can't you do, really?
Yeah.
So coming from a corporate environment, it was the opportunity to take what I enjoy doing about the human experience and how can I use that to better my community. We all experienced 2020. We experienced it in different ways. Being a Black woman, I experienced and witnessed continuous dehumanization, trauma, devaluation of my community. And I'm just, not here for it. Sure. Enough is enough. I'm capable, more than capable to make a change. So that's really why I started MelanList. I looked around and said, what can I do? I'm not going to just wait for the problem to be solved. I'm not going to wait on the president. I'm not going to wait on anyone else. What can I do right now that I can help build and strengthen my community the way I know it needs to be?
Nice. So go into the actual, yes, I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a delay. I'm so sorry. But go into a little bit of the concept of what it is. And I would love to know how, because I know, to me, that's a big step from seeing something. You have that reaction. And then from that reaction to action is a huge step. Walk us through that.
Yeah, in my method, in the way that I kind of work, those two steps are the easiest for me. I know if anyone on the call is familiar with it, you're taking like different personality assessments in the talent development space, you understand like your preferences and how you like to work. For me, it is very easy to ideate and create, and it takes a little bit more energy for me to strategize and enumerate and execute with the data. So coming up with ideas and making a plan around it is easy for me. Very easy for me to do. But
so you and I feel are yin yang, because for me, I will come up with ideas. I'm not going to say I'm not innovative, but I think I am more along the strategy. To me, I love strategizing. I can sit up here and strategize with you all day long. So that's powerful because for one, it does take both types to be successful. Yes, and I always like to tell people, because I think if you grow up in a competitive environment, you're almost taught to ignore your I'm not going to call them weaknesses, but your opportunities. You're almost taught to ignore those. But really, once you understand it, then it's an SJ and a Fujica partnering, right? We've got the best of both worlds. We've got the innovation. We've got the strategy. And we're both successful because we're not competing. We have different interests, know? And so I love that. So I always tell people, as soon as you find that opportunity, especially people that are going into business, guys, this is a nugget for you. If you're going into business and there's an opportunity for you, you want to find somebody or fill that gap with somebody who your opportunity is their strength, and then you're just setting yourself up for success.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that, Fujica. And with your background and obviously me knowing you, you said that you're the strategy. I was like, that makes so much sense. Absolutely, it aligns 100%. And you can kind of continue that self-awareness, which I'll talk a little bit about later, but continue that self-awareness to help you understand what you don't need and what you can grab, where you can handle things well, what is in your wheelhouse, and just be honest with yourself about what you don't know. Like, no one is expecting, 100% perfection. There are going to be learning curves. There are going to be things that you're absolutely not familiar with that you're going to need to just jump into feet first.
Yes. So. And I think that's, I feel like the theme that keeps repeating itself is you do have to jump. There's going to be a leap.
Yes, absolutely. In some way.
So you have to expect that, and you have to embrace that, because sometimes it's the only way to move forward. I mean, I know for me, I'm one of those people, I will overthink things, and sometimes you just got to leap. You just got to jump.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let me ask you, tell us about launching MelanList.
Yes.
And how it's going for you. And then kind of what's next with it too. Because I read somewhere, for a lot of businesses, especially smaller businesses, where we typically fall into trouble after launch is scaling. So tell me about, you've launched this beautiful baby, you've given birth to your baby. So tell me what that transition has been like for you, and what's next for MelanList.
Yes, and thank you so much for that question, Fujica, because I have to remind myself, like, oh, this was just an idea I had on the couch one day 3 years ago, and I just said the name out loud, like, MelanList. And I was like, what would that be? What does that mean? What is that? And it has been such a pleasure to really figure that out. One of the most important things is you don't have to have it all figured out. Yeah. A lot of things come up as you go along. So I think people get so stuck with not knowing where to start, but the starting is where you'll find the solution. You have to do, to know, to iterate, to move, to adjust. So don't worry about having all the boxes checked, especially as women. We like to have everything ABCD before we venture out. We know we want to have everything together. Yes, honestly, that's how we're conditioned. And that follows us into our work and our faith in ourselves and our entrepreneurial spirit. Just give it a go. Like, let go of any of those things that have kind of been clamping you in and like settling you down. You're going to have to unclamp those so you can get a little free and move around a little bit and
bust
explore.
Out. You're going to have to bust out.
Yes, break free. It sounds very like almost metaphysical or in some ways, but really it's you developing your mind for yourself, your mind for your business, your mind for your environment. And that only happens with experience. You have to work at that. It just doesn't, you just can't wake up and like have 10 years experience.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Very good. Let me ask you, in your career or in your business, so it'll be up to you, what has been your biggest challenge, and tell us how you navigated through it?
Yes, thank you, Fujica. And I do want to circle back here just to kind of let everybody who might not know about MelanList know. Of course. We just got to chatting.
Yes.
I get so excited about this, but really, MelanList is the name in elevated business practices in the Black community. We want to make it easy for anyone who wishes to demonstrate their commitment to the Black community to be able to do so monetarily through financial activism. It is the easiest, the first step that anyone who's interested in supporting the Black community, also especially Black people, can do to strengthen and build us up. Businesses are the backbone of the economy. Yes. And one of the key metrics for Black businesses is that we run out of money, essentially. We start all these beautiful ideas, all these things that are needed, but the organization is not getting the funds it needs, the capital it needs, is not getting the support it needs. So then it goes by the wayside.
Yes.
We have, as the Black community, the capital, we have $1 trillion in money to spend in 2022. So for Black spending, it was $1 trillion. There is no lack. It's just that we're not looking, we're not directing our funds to the right place all the time. And I'm not saying only buy from Black people 100% of the time. But if you can start integrating, if you could become curious about the businesses that already exist, you can easily and tangibly build up the Black community. That's all it takes. Is just, instead of going to Target, go down to your local Black market or buy those cleaning supplies from a Black business instead.
Yeah.
Small steps, small tweaks, but that's what we do.
Conscious steps. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we do. So we focus on that for the community, and then we focus on the credentialing and business services for our business partners. We're trying to get them to where we want them to be, whatever the vision is. That's what we're trying to do. Having multiple people team up helps different ideas, different perspectives, and whatever we can do, whatever we can expose you to as a business or even as a community member to just get you thinking about supporting the Black community more. That's what we're here to offer. And going forward, we're going to continue to invest directly into businesses and in the community.
Nice. I love that. You know, you struck a chord when you were talking, because as you know from our private conversations, I am often talking to people who want to start their business, and a lot of times they're wanting to start their home care agencies. Mm-hmm. And they have that passion, they have the story, but they don't have the funds. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know what, I'm just forward thinking for you and I know we're talking about community development and things of that nature. I really think that might be how you and I could serve together.
That's wonderful.
Really, really talking about that. Not only financial literacy, but just, you know, planning for it. Like, it's okay if your thing right now, because I know I stayed in corporate America longer than I would have liked to, but a lot of that was positioning. I had to position myself to do what it is that I actually wanted to do. So I think we're on to something, my lady, because
yes, indeed.
That's kind of where we're falling short sometimes. It's just not having that money. And like you said, I loved what you said, running out. You have that initial investment and then you run out before, you know, you can get it going. Love that. So sorry to keep interrupting you, but you really got me there. You got me there. Yeah.
No worries, Fujica. So you asked me where's MelanList in the future?
Yes.
Really, we want to be that label that everyone sees. When you walk up into a Black business, you'll see our business partner logo. That way you know that this business operates at the highest standards. They're, you know, if you call them, they're going to answer the phone. You send them an email, they're going to email you back. Just like simple standards that make, you know, interacting with a business owner more comfortable, not only for the patron, but for the community, because it helps to build trust. So that's one of the main things that I'm really working on. That MelanList is really wanting to advocate and ensure the community understands. So first step, we want to build trust in the community. We want people to remove the stigma that can exist about shopping with Black businesses, and even the some that we have internalized that we don't kind of catch ourselves saying, but like, ooh, I don't want to go down there. Or, ooh, you know, it's on that side of town. But if that's where the people are that you need to be supporting,
then you kind of
show up.
Now let me, you know, I don't want to brag on you a little bit, but I'm going to brag just a little bit. Because one of the things that made me want to partner with you was I loved how on the application you were putting my feet to the fire. You were like, okay, are you committing to doing at least two community events, you know, this year? Talk to me about that. Why was that important when you structured your business model? Why did you feel like, no, I need commitments from my folks to do stuff for the community? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, the business owners of the community are part of the community themselves. There's this endless, amazing cycle that we have. We not only have this person is a member of the community who's supporting Black organizations, but now they're also a business owner. So that's an opportunity that I really felt was my responsibility as well when I started MelanList, to share this, to show this, to communicate this. Yes, starting a business is hard. It's not easy. There's going to be some definite obstacles. If you think about it like playing Mario, you can't easily get to the castle flag.
Correct.
You know, you got to go through a level. You got to level up first. Yes. So having that opportunity for us to just start speaking. One thing that I also want for us to change passively as MelanList is for the Black community to talk to one another more. We do not share our experiences the way we should. Yeah. So we do not know what to do in certain situations because we're not talking to one another. So passively, this business is not only getting business owners in front of the community, but vice versa as well. We want to establish a strong force of, Black excellence from the owners, and also a strong force of Black support from the patrons who are, doing our challenges where you can, for instance, we have a monthly challenge. It's September, so it's cleaning supplies month for absolutely free. If you purchase a product from a Black-owned cleaning company, you can enter in a competition to win $75. It's really easy. Absolutely free. Nothing for you to sign up for. Just send us the receipt. As long as the business can be verified, we want to support that business. It's that simple. It's not a category thing. It's not a location thing. Is it Black-owned? Can we verify that they're Black-owned? Let's go ahead and continue to support them, continue to communicate about where businesses are. If someone new is popping up, we need to know and go to support. If there's been someone who's been grinding for the last 10 years and, maybe things are getting a little hard, we need to understand that it's time to support them, or that, that opportunity will be lost and our market share continues to decrease. So it's really about taking care of one another. And that's what community service is all about.
Nice. I love that. I want to say, I was like, wow, this is something different but beautiful. Like you have to, even the job that we keep referencing, that was something that was alive, is how can you serve? And it's one thing to make it, we all want to be successful, but it's another thing to say, hey, okay, now how can I help the next? How can I reach back? And so I thought that was lovely. So kudos to you for that, because to make that a part of your vein so early in the process, I thought that was amazing.
Thank you.
Back to your challenge. I'm so sorry. What is the biggest challenge you've experienced, either in your business or in career? And then how did you navigate through it?
Yes. So my biggest challenge, Fujica, I originally thought I would say like the entire journey has been like the biggest challenge. What I tend to run into is this sort of self-doubt. And it's not necessarily imposter syndrome, because I'm 100,000%. I believe in every word that I put down. It's not that I don't believe myself. It's just that there's always an opportunity for self-doubt to sort of creep in. So another large challenge I had, or a specific challenge I had, was really honing in on my audience, because I'm asking for a specific type of individual, a specific type of community member. And there is a lot of generational conditioning that has to be overcome. There's a lot of societal conditioning that may have to be overcome if, depending on where that person is in their journey in wanting to support and demonstrate their building of the Black community through their money, through their dollar. I say at MelanList, your dollar is your loudest voice. You can go out and protest. You can go out and, call your senator. The easiest thing to do is withhold your dollar.
That's good.
That's the most powerful thing you can do, is say, I will not spend my money with you. So understanding that now we're at an opportunity where, owners of locations, owners of companies can no longer hide. You can kind of figure out where they are by Google. if you're actively harming my community, I should not be giving you money. Right. I should not be supporting and building you up. If you are determined to keep me in a place of subjugation, I should not be giving you my money. We should not have any sort of, financial happening going on. I have other options. Target, Walmart, they're not the only options. Yeah. We have just so many countless festivals and events that I've gone to, and I'm here in the Atlanta area, so I'm at such a wonderful spot to really be focusing on Black businesses. Just countless venues of people making just wonderful things that the Black community as a whole does not get to see.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to change.
Very true. Nice. Can I circle back to self-doubt a little bit?
Yes.
Just because I think, I know for me, I will tell you this, I don't really have a lot of self-doubt. I think I've kind of worked my way through that, but that imposter syndrome comes up all the time. And I think that's because you do want to really help. Like I'm not, getting anything from this necessarily. I really just want to honor commitment that I made myself and the commitment I made to this community. And then sometimes you're like, what ideas should I go to this path? Should I?
You're right.
So tell me, like, how are you? This is probably more advice for me than the audience. I don't know, but how have you been combating that imposter syndrome? What has been helping you?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I wouldn't necessarily describe it as imposter syndrome, only because like the confidence is there. Yeah. Like I'm never not confident in like the work that I'm doing. I tend to get a little bit less confident on maybe the steps that I'm taking. So I love how you mentioned that. I love how you mentioned that about what direction to go into. I tend to focus on whatever gives me the most, what I get most excited about. Mm-hmm. And what gets me so excited is having the chance to just say that I invested in the Black community, whether as MelanList or whether, I'm doing all these challenges right along with everyone else. I'm wanting to demonstrate and, go through the products myself. I want to help build that connection as well. So really finding things that I connect with that just make me innately happy, even in addition to, like we were talking about before, capital. So understanding that capital is something that Black businesses need. So how can we get that more accessible, more easily to these business owners in a meaningful way? Not just here's money, but here's money, here's a plan, here's what you can do for the next 2-3 years. Sure. Like, where are you trying to go?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I know we're meeting next week, but I'm writing down some things for us. I'm multitasking. So let me ask you this then. What do you think you would accomplish if fear was not a factor?
Yeah, so I really appreciated this question. And one, it's interesting for me to answer because when I think about fear, it's tricky. I'm not a fearful person. Mm-hmm. In my day-to-day. I don't tend to sit on fear and like let it continue to brew. One thing I have noticed since I've stepped out on my own in this entrepreneurial journey is that fear manifests in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what I do and what I would suggest others who are interested in, continuing to grow their business is to really, really, really focus on your self-awareness. Okay. Focus on, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? Like, what are the root causes of me feeling this way? And how do I get over this? How do I overcome this feeling? So when you know that you're in a mood, let's say it's, it's Tuesday, 3:00, you're in a mood, mm-hmm. You have work to do, but you don't feel like it, maybe you're a little tired. Maybe
look, you just who told you?
Right? Like, I don't feel like it, but it has to get done. So just understanding that maybe for you, you need to take more breaks throughout the day. You have to go outside and at least walk a mile and a half before you feeling refreshed enough to put your energy back into something else. We're all so busy. We do all have the same time in the day, but it takes a certain headspace and certain awareness to be able to recognize how you can really move and make the way you work, how you work, where you work, all of that work for you. And we've gotten much more comfortable with that or familiar with that. We've had the opportunity to work from home for these last few years.
Yeah.
But it's really like that. Like how can you really best work in this environment that you're not familiar with? Why are you feeling these feelings of A, B, C, D? What can you learn from yourself to help you overcome these feelings of whatever they are, inadequacy, nervousness, whatever.
I love that because I think for so many of us, and especially being women, we're always taught to show up for others. And somehow, even in our own lives, we take a back seat. And so I know since I've been in business for myself these last couple of years, I have really allowed myself to show up for me. So like, one thing I've noticed, SJ, there are times I have learned now. I didn't know what it was back then. But there's these last couple of years I've noticed I really need to limit access to myself. So there will be times that I'm not taking calls. I'm not replying to emails. And it's really just a time that I'm honoring me, because when I do show up for you, I want to give you 120%. I want to be there. But there are times when I know I can't give that to you, and I really need to be there for me right now. I need to give that 120% to me. So I'm glad that you said that, because I even think that's something you learn, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You just kind of like run into it. Yeah. You have to figure out your way around it.
Yeah, it's true. It's all navigational. It's all navigational. I need to talk to you. I need you to kind of brag a little bit about yourself, and you need to tell me about your biggest accomplishment, career move. What are you most proud of?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, we've been talking about investing in the community. We've been talking about capital, and recently, last month, MelanList had the opportunity to invest in one of its business partners. It was one of the very first business partners, Payroll. They are an interactive talent development gaming platform that is going to literally revolutionize the talent development space. So keep an eye out for that. But we had the option to invest in them as an angel investor in their pre-seed round, and it's just phenomenal. I'm just ecstatic. When I met the owner, she was kind of ideating. She had been doing some research for a year or two already. And then we got together, and we've just grown together ever since. So it's phenomenal. She is now, the company's going to be doing their first actual seed round in October with a $4 million valuation. So I am so excited.
Huge. Okay. I was questioning whether I was going to say this, but what you just said is forcing me to. And I really think every time I talk to somebody, it springs something else. We keep talking about capital on this conversation. We keep talking about financial literacy. You just brought up angel investment. You're talking about seed money. These are some of the things I think we need to expose our community more. We need to define those things. What does that look like? And so obviously we can't do all that in one conversation, but when those 4 topics that I just mentioned, what would be your biggest advice to someone who has that ideology down, man? They've got that talent. This is not a passion project. This is their life's work. What would be your advice on, I just don't have the finances? Can I, and I know, I'm so sorry, that's not on, but let's talk about it, because I love what you just said. That was so powerful.
I think there's 2 groups.
Okay.
I feel blessed that I'm in the group of business owners who, yes, I have a business. My business does not necessarily fund my lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like you were saying, as far as a passion project, like this is more of a life's work.
Yes.
So I'm not expecting this to, pay my rent.
Right.
I'm not selling things to have, something else going on. So I feel like I'm very blessed in that regard when it comes to like the ideation. I can take things a lot slower. With the experience I have, I can also, pad things in from what I've learned to help make things easier for me down the road. And those are things that you'll really just know as you step into your industry and you really just kind of get into the meat of what you're going to be doing and the thing that you're going to be offering, how it's going to be making a difference in the lives of your audience.
Yeah.
So I would really say make it a point to know your limits.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard. Most people don't really want to talk about that, but it's really hard. When you start a business, it's all coming down to those numbers. It's all coming down to those strategies. So if you're in an organization where, you're needing your business to fund your lifestyle, make sure that you're planning and padding any sort of capital needs that you need to in the business development phase so that you understand, okay, I don't have the capital. I'm not going to be able to go to the bank and get a $50,000 loan. But what can you do with either the money that you have from somewhere else, the money that you can save from somewhere else, and making sure that it's just in a plan so that it's not being spent haphazardly. Even if it's not a lot of capital, that doesn't mean that your idea is not valid, that you'll never be successful. None of that. It just means it's going to take you a little bit longer.
Yeah. Right.
You have a more steep climb, but that doesn't mean that you won't ever get there. So making sure you understand, okay, it's been 20 months. I haven't made the return that I'm looking for in 20 months. Either I need to change the way I'm doing things. I need to figure out more capital, or I have to find out some other solution. So think about that as you go in. Don't obsess about it, but be aware of it so that as you're navigating through your entrepreneurial journey, you'll be able to sort of better navigate and kind of sidestep anything where you felt like capital would be holding you back.
Right. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Before I go into the last question, did we talk about, I know we wanted to save some time to talk about membership, Patreon. I think this would be a great time for that.
Sure. Absolutely. So everyone who's on the call today, I'm sure that you've gotten some insight from this, and I really hope it's helping to reframe the steps that you're about to take, because it's a big step. If you're new, if you haven't gotten in there already, and if you've tried it, you'll understand where it's at and the level of effort that is needed. Just keep going, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Also, don't try to do anything on your own.
Yeah.
Just reach out. Find someone. Connect. There's LinkedIn, a network of individuals. Reach out. Say hi. Ask a question. Really try to find, like Fujica was saying, find the people who are good at what are not your strengths and leverage each other. With our membership, we have the opportunity for our business partners. If you're a business and you're looking to join, we do have some requirements. Because this is really to bolster the Black community, we're asking that the members for the business partner membership be self-identify as Black owned, that they do have some sort of community engagement twice a year, and they try to adhere at least a 50% Black workforce. That is not a strict rule. You can't, determine the people that you meet, but just as you build, as you grow, as you scale, another way to really reinforce the development of the Black community is to hire Black individuals, so that we have we have the capital and the disposable income to go out and shop with our Black-owned businesses. That brings that money back. Continuing on that dollar bounce, I don't know if you've heard the statistic, Black dollar only stays in the Black community for about 6 minutes compared to an Asian individual, their dollar stays in their Asian community 30 days. So that's a big difference. It's a humongous difference.
Chills.
Yeah, we could do better. And that's the whole point. Every day is an opportunity to do better. If you're interested in just the day-to-day, you do want to start supporting Black businesses more often, we're so excited to join you in this. This is exactly what we want to do. If you are a patron, of course, you'll get access to the free challenges. You can still join those. But the amount of money that you win doubles. So now you can just win $150 for buying a Black-owned wine, buying Jay-Z champagne, if you wanted to get fancy, and then winning most of that money back in our challenges. So it doubles it. You also get access to additional challenges, scholarships, other resources, business development resources as well. Really, the hope is that everyone who is a patron will eventually be a business partner too. Yes. Everyone should have their own business if that's the step that they're looking to take. So for the individuals who are joining us today, I have a special offer. If you would like, we have a 1-month free opportunity for you to try a patron membership, which is just when you're out in the community supporting Black businesses. I'll be sharing the information with Fujica. Maybe she'll send it out to you, or you'll have it.
Absolutely.
You'll have the information, but we're so excited to introduce you and work with you and just increasing our community in such a financial and visceral way.
Nice. I love it. So yes, we will definitely be sending that out. We'll post it in the video description. So that way, regardless of how you come across this video, you will have that information in the description. Okay. You've given so much advice already, SJ, but the last question is, what advice would you give a woman trying to reach their goals?
Yes. Well, precious woman on this earth, no one like you, there's only one you. Yeah. Really summing it up to no risk, no reward.
Yeah.
Ooh. We've been conditioned as women to be risk adverse, and that side of, venturing out and exploration is mostly reserved for males. Mm-hmm. But that's not true. That's just a headspace. As a woman, get comfortable venturing out. Get comfortable exploring. If you ask yourself a question, what if this and this happens? Don't be so quick to just shut it down.
Yeah.
Let it hang in the air. Let it have a little life, because that idea could get you to the next idea that's closer to what you wanted. So don't shut yourself down. Also, I would say another thing that we do as women, I know we do it, don't assume how the situation is going to play out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Don't give it your own spin before you even get the opportunity to get into the room and then hype yourself up, overthinking, and now your head's somewhere else.
Right.
Give yourself the space to just be present, to come in, show up, you be awesome, do what you do. Like it's nothing new. You're already used to being awesome.
Yeah. So right.
Keep doing that with an open mind.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Before I give kind of my parting words, anyone who is interested in becoming a part of MelanList or want to connect with you personally, can you give out a little bit of personal information so we can make sure people have a chance to connect with you?
Absolutely. Please check us out at www.melanlist.com. So that's MELAN, MelanList. LIST.com. You'll see the opportunities and the options to sign up as a partner or as a patron. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at sj@melanlist.com.
Nice. Very good. Listen, this has been wonderful. Again, it's my hope to, reach women. That's my whole goal. I want to reach women. I want to empower women. I want all women, no matter the shade, no matter the age, no matter listen, we have so many no matter the, right? You fill in the blank.
Yes.
All of us are powerful. We all have an opportunity to really do what it is that we were created to do,
That's it.
And I don't want, because we all experience challenges, we all experience setbacks. Man, they're just there to make you stronger, to make you wiser. Yes. Don't let them stop you. Any last words from you, SJ?
I mean, I really loved what you were saying about not letting that fear and everything stop you. I just really hope individuals, and I hope the women who are listening or the people that are listening really resonate with that. Don't let it get in your way. Also, if it changes itself, recognize that, like,
Nice.
ooh, it's a little bit of self-doubt, but it's grounded in fear. Or, ooh, I'm being inactive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just overwhelmed and I'm choosing not to do anything. Like, what is that? What's that based in? What's going on there?
Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't self-sabotage and really just believe in what you're doing. Believe the impact you can make. We're so used to doing that in our lives, in our home lives, in our family lives, being the one that makes things happen. So you already do it. You already have it in you. It's just a new journey that, is waiting for you whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready. Ooh, we're going to end on that note. SJ, it's been a pleasure. You guys, let's make sure that we're supporting MelanList. And you guys, hopefully this conversation has brought you a little bit closer, a little bit a better understanding of yourself and what you can do. Understand the power of you. Absolutely. Okay, guys, that's all I have. I'm going to end the call. SJ, I'm calling you. But for everyone else, have a blessed day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.